Hey guys, my name is Eric, and I'm doing my presentation on Stockholm Syndrome. This topic interested me because I was watching Money Heist, and something like this occurred. Here are some of my references. Yeah, what is Stockholm Syndrome? Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological way a person tries to survive terrifying experiences, and the person bonds with who is causing those experiences in a way to feel secure and to make sure they are no longer in harm, and increases their chances in survival. Stockholm Syndrome was named after a bank robbery that happened in Stockholm, Sweden in 1973. The bank employees were held hostage for 6 days and were wrapped in dynamite and thrown in the bank vault. Victims became attached to the robbers and rejected their chances in escaping and later did not want to testify against the robbers and also kept in touch with the robbers later after their captivity. Um, what how it happens? There are four major factors that need to occur. One being the victim needs to feel threatened, either physically or psychologically. This happens when we actually believe that the accuser will act on threats. Most commonly, it is indirectly, such as breaking something in front of them or threaten to harm something or someone they love, such as an animal or a prized possession. The goal for the abuser is to make sure that you believe that the harm they can do is possible. Two, the abuser shows you some small kindness. This could simply be that they didn't hurt you when they normally would, or in the case of hostage situations, they were fed. Three, are isolated from other perspectives other than the abusers. This makes it really hard for you to see a way out the abuse and focuses all of your time and energy into not spending upsetting them or being around anyone who would upset them. Four, you do not feel like you can escape. This is most commonly done through money. Many abusers will get you a car you cannot afford to make payments or on by yourself, or get you both in debts so far that you actually cannot afford to leave. They will do anything to keep you trapped, and make you feel stuck. Here's a chart of some cases where people had Stockholm syndrome. Um, One being the ES. They didn't really say their names, but they put their initials ES. And she was 14 years old and in Salt Lake City in USA. She was kept captive for 9 months. Um, the motive was that he was a Mormon prophet and took ES to be his wife, and the name he used was Augustine. Um, During the captivity, um, ES was threatened with a knife and tied to a tree or kept in a hole. Reportedly, also experienced rape, verbal abuse, and threat of violence during captivity. She was taken to public spaces at times, but was forced to wear heavy veils and was not allowed to speak to anyone but captors, and had opportunities to escape or be rescued but did not utilize them. Later, after the captivity, um, she identified herself as Augustine and said, "I know what you're thinking. You guys that um, you guys think that I'm that girl who ran away." She reportedly asked what would happen to her captors, showing ongoing concern for their welfare. Michael was declared mentally incompetent to testify at the trial. Some other indicators would be that the victim shows symptoms of ongoing trauma or post traumatic stress disorder. The victim is bonded to the offender. The victim denies the violence which is occurring or is able to rationalize the violence. The victim denies his or her own anger to others and to him or herself. The victim is hypervigilant to the offender's needs and attempts to keep the abuser happy. Um, the victim views the world from the offender's perspective. She or he may not have or her or his own perspective. Thus, the victim experiences his or her own sense of self through the offender's eyes. The victim sees would be rescuers as the bad guys and the offenders as the good guy or the protector. The victim finds it difficult to either leave the offender or separate psychologically from the abuser. The victim fears rationalization from the offender. And here are some hotlines, which are the National Sexual Assault Online Hotline, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and National Alliance of Mental Illnesses.